The more afraid of life you are, the more you'll try to control it. Obviously, because you want to control it in the way that you would like things to turn out. And maybe you're frightened of a whole pile of things. Anally retentive people try to control everything. Money, they'll have spreadsheets to control their money. An exercise regime, maybe they have a spreadsheet for that as well. Time management, endless numbers of things that they try to control. Because life frightens them. So the reality is quite different to the idea that we have control over anything. So let's talk about thoughts. Have you got any idea what you're going to be thinking in 10 minutes from now? Well, you may pretend that you have, but actually you don't. You have no idea, because you don't know what things are going to happen between now and 10 minutes time. Yeah, it could be very, very good news. You find that you have the winning lottery ticket, and you're jubilant, and you forget all about this. Or something horrible happens and you become very concerned. Again, you'll forget all about this. So you don't really control your thoughts. You don't know what you're going to be thinking in 10 minutes. Same with your emotions. What you're going to be feeling in 10 minutes from now is wholly unknown to you, because you don't know how the world is going to affect you over the next 10 minutes. Same with your desires. You don't know what you're going to desire. So we can say with a good degree of certainty that in reality we don't control anything. Now, this is hardly surprising, because we're very tiny things in a very large universe, and we can be affected by anything, any one of a million things at any one time. The weather, the food you're eating, whether it's tasty or not, just endless things as you go through the day. And these things will affect you and affect what you're thinking about and what you are feeling, desiring. And you have no control over how the world affects you. None. It's much bigger than you are. You are just like a little grain of sand being blown about in the wind. Of course, the drive behind all this desire to control is simply the need to ensure our well-being. I started by saying that people who are control freaks are basically frightened. They're frightened that things are not going to go well, essentially. So they try to control everything. This is just our survival drive, and we are cursed and blessed at the same time with the ability to think into the future, and we can think all kinds of things that might happen, most of which won't happen, of course. But even so, we can think that maybe in 5 years' time we're not going to have enough money, or our partner's going to leave, or something. And so we try and shore everything up to make sure that nothing bad is going to happen. The universe takes no account of our shoring up. It couldn't care less whether you shore things up or not. The result of all this is anxiety, stress, and worry, and probably other things as well. Because you'll be anxious about the outcome of things, and trying to achieve a desired outcome, or what you consider to be a desired outcome, will involve stress, and you'll worry about the future. It's not a great way to live. So the idea of control is really quite a negative one, because it affects us quite badly in terms of our psychological state. Behind all this is the idea that we are important. You only do all this striving and planning and scheming and whatever else to try and control things. If you believe you are important, it's basically the survival drive. And no creature does survival better than human beings in the main anyway. And so we are loaded with all this stuff, the anxiety and stress and so on. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is to lose your sense of importance, to a large extent anyway. And if you lose your sense of importance, you'll lose the need to try and control things. I mean, this can go very deep. Losing your sense of importance isn't something you do in a weekend workshop or something. You have to really look at the nature of life and consider things like every day 250,000 or thereabouts people die, and slightly more are born, and as Gurdjieff might say, it's a large conveyor belt of human life. People dropping on or coming onto one end of it and then dropping off the other end of it. So from the point of view of life, we're not really very important. I mean, from the point of view of the universe, with 200 billion galaxies and 100 billion stars in our own galaxy, we are less than a speck of dust on a grain, a grain of sand. So we need to start, having some kind of understanding of our lack of importance. But our ego doesn't like that very much, and certainly our survival drive will insist that we are important. You see, the survival drive doesn't really care whether your mind is subject to anxiety, stress and worry. Your anxiety drive, your survival drive will just keep going anyway. Do more, do it faster, do it better, and so on. Creating these things of anxiety, stress and worry. So the key to it all is to lose your sense of self-importance, but that's not an easy thing. But it is as far as I'm aware anyway, the only thing that will moderate our need to control. Now, need to control is actually the cause of a lot of suffering.